Orchard Supply Hardware, better known as OSH, was an American retailer of home improvement and gardening products from 1931 until 2018. Welcome to Eric C. Productions. If this is your first time watching one of my videos, please hit that subscribe button and notification bell so that you get notified of my latest videos that are posted during the week. Please leave a suggestion or a comment, and maybe you might see that video in a future posting. Thanks for watching, and now back to the program.
There's something special about neighborhoods. Maybe it's the paperboy who almost always hits the mark. Or maybe it's the way neighbors welcome neighbors.
This is so exciting. I hope they like cookies.
Or maybe it's that Orchard Supply Hardware has been helping families beautify their homes and gardens since 1931.
Look at this, you folks are too nice. Let me be the first to welcome you to Orchard.
Orchard Supply Hardware. We're here to help.
Orchard Supply was formed in 1931 as the Orchard Supply Farmers Co-op by 30 farmers consisting mostly of orchardists and fruit tree ranchers who banded together to form a cooperative to buy essential farm supplies. Each farmer put up $30, and in the midst of the Great Depression, a new company was formed. Stanley B. Smith served as the company's first general manager and president. Operations started in a rented warehouse at 230 Bassett Street in San Jose, California. In spite of the Great Depression, the cooperative was successful. In 1933, the co-op moved to a larger location on Vine Street in San Jose. The new location featured a large retail display area, off-street parking, and an adjoining warehouse. By 1946, there were almost 2,000 members. By 1950, the electronics industry began booming in the Santa Clara Valley, and with its abundance of new homeowners in the San Francisco Bay Area, the orchards gradually became residential neighborhoods, and the Orchard Supply Farmers Co-op became a for-profit corporation, Orchard Supply Hardware Retail Stores. What you see in this video are my great-grandparents visiting their new property in the San Jose area in the 1950s. By the late 1970s, after shedding the cooperative vestiges of its past and moving into the retail sale of general hardware goods, Orchard Supply comprised of 7 stores, all located in Northern California. The company was supported by these 7 stores when W.R. Grace & Company purchased Orchard Supply from its original owners in 1979. During the next 7 years, the size of the retail chain more than doubled as expansion picked up pace behind the backing of an owner with deeper financial pockets. Orchard Supply was a 19-store company by July of 1986 when Santa Monica-based Wicks Companies, Inc. acquired the retailer from W.R. Grace & Company. The transaction was completed 6 months before the arrival of the individual that would lead Orchard Supply toward an accelerated growth and prominence in the home improvement industry. Under the guiding hand of Maynard Jenkins, Orchard Supply rested free from its sleepy origins, ending a half-century of measured growth to embark on a future that would position the company as an industry leader a decade later. By the time Jenkins joined Orchard Supply, the chain had added 2 more stores, increasing to a 21-store company. This was the starting point of the Jenkins era, a tenure that 10 years after his arrival would witness the expansion of Orchard Supply chain to 60 stores. Before this expansion occurred, Orchard Supply underwent several more ownership changes as the company was tossed from parent company to parent company, led to private ownership, and then towards public ownership. Exactly 2 years after Jenkins' arrival, Wicks Companies was purchased by the Blackstone Capital Partners and Wasserstein Perella Partners, a transaction that also gave Orchard Supply new owners. As far as Orchard Supply was concerned, the relationship lasted less than a year. In June of 1989, Jenkins and the other Orchard Supply management sought to restore the retailer's independence, enlisting the help of a limited partnership organized by the Los Angeles-based investment firm of Freeman Spogli and Company. The result was a $134 million leveraged buyout that returned Orchard Supply to private ownership. Between 1987 and the beginning of the 1990s, the first 3 years of Jenkins' era, Orchard Supply had added 10 stores and had posted consecutive record sales and earning levels. By the beginning of the 1990s, Jenkins was sitting atop a 33-unit chain as president and chief executive officer, ready to lead the company toward expansion. Led by Atlanta-based Home Depot, Inc. and Fullerton, California-based Home Club, Inc., the retail home improvement industry was dominated by massive warehouse stores and discount pricing, two of the determinative characteristics of success that prevailed as the 1990s began. The retail chain emphasized merchandise selection and customer service over pricing. It eschewed the vast floor spaces used by its most intimidating rivals, opting instead to stock twice the number of products and half the square footage typical of industry stalwarts Home Depot and Home Club. Instead of attempting to attract the classic do-it-yourself customers who remodeled their own kitchens and bathrooms, Orchard Supply targeted the fix-it shopper, or those customers concerned with completing the smaller tasks associated with repairing and maintaining a home. By operating as such, Orchard Supply distinguished itself from its larger competition and scores of competitors smaller than the San Jose-based company. Occupying the middle tier of the home improvement retailing, Orchard Supply was positioned midway between independent hardware stores and the much larger warehouse home centers, giving the company a viable market niche that would serve as its foundation for the future. In December of 1993, Orchard Supply acquired 7 former Builder Emporium stores, paying a hefty $20 million for the properties. For Jenkins, the price was worth it because 6 of the stores were located in the Los Angeles area and another near Santa Barbara, giving the company entry into the Southern California market for the first time. Orchard Supply Hardware was purchased by Sears in 1996 after 7 years of independence. In 2005, Sears sold a 20% interest in the company to Ares Management of Los Angeles for $58.7 million, announcing expansion plans at the time. Ares had the option to later purchase another 30.2% stake in the company for $126.8 million, but did not exercise this right. Orchard Supply had 84 stores at the time. After Sears filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, Orchard Supply Hardware was spun out of Sears Holdings in 2012 and became a public company. On June 17, 2013, Orchard Supply Hardware announced it filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Most of its assets would be sold to the Lowe's home improvement chain for $205 million in cash. Lowe's agreed to acquire no fewer than 60 of the 91 Orchard Supply stores, operating them separately from Lowe's. At the close of the process, Orchard Supply remained a separate brand and operating entity from the Lowe's chain.
Founded in 1931, their mission? To be America's neighborhood hardware and garden store.
I bought paint today. I bought plumbing supplies in the past, obviously garden areas as well.
Now this neighborhood store will soon be like others nearby. Vacant. Carol Smith is a customer of their Northwest Portland store.
I'm so sad. This is the right size store for a neighborhood. Not too big, not too small. Wonderful employees, always with a real helpful attitude.
Her sentiment felt by many. Another small store swallowed up by a big box store.
Well, it's really too bad because it's a great place to get in and out, and now we're stuck with big box stores.
There are 4 stores in the Portland area. The newest one opened only 2 years ago off of Belmont in the Goat Blocks.
I think right now we're seeing a big disruption in retail and what's happening.
Jennifer Nolfi is the executive director of the Portland State School of Business. She says consumers should expect to see more of this. Innovation is key to survival.
I think in this market there's a lot of movement of mergers and acquisitions closing, so it doesn't surprise me, honestly. I think we're going to continue to see a lot of disruption happening.
As more and more stores are closing, customers will now have to seek out other options.
I don't like to hear about it at all because we just don't have enough stores that handle the things that Orchard does.
Lowe's will close down 99 Orchard stores while opening up 9 of their own. All of those stores should close by February. Liquidation sales should start tomorrow. Back to you guys.
Hey, if you just watched my video, thanks for watching. Hit that like button and please subscribe to Eric C. Productions.